Okay, look, this time I promise I'll watch my language and I do have pants on, so I think we're
Okay, good job, Roland. I appreciate it. Hello, everyone, and welcome to Tea with Roland and Virgo. This is our very first episode, and we're here this evening to just have some fun with you guys. Give everybody the opportunity to kind of pop in here. We've only got a few viewers right now, Roland. So, oh, that popped up real fast. Okay.
I haven't looked on YouTube to see where that's at. Let me move that over to my other screen. So okay, there's the thing. I'll make sure where that's at. There we go. I turned off the YouTube audio so I can see the chat.
I see Jeff is already after me with something, Roland. He says the facts matter, yes, but punctuality, on the other hand.
Yeah, but in what time zone?
Well, see, here's the thing, Jeff. I had to set everything up on a whim because Roland and I decided to do this just as something fun for Friday night at the last minute. And then I thought, if I go live right now, Jeff will have nothing to bitch at me about. So I'm going to sit and talk to Roland for 5 minutes. And this way, it will give you the opportunity. I didn't want to ruin your Friday night. that's how much I love you, Jeff.
Oh man, that's got to mean a lot.
Well, good evening to everyone. We're basically here to talk about a couple of interesting things that have occurred over the last day and just have a little bit of fun with you guys for about an hour. And thank you to everyone for showing up and saying hello. Hopefully we get a few more people in here over the time frame our short little time frame that we're going to have here. Say hi to everyone, Roland.
Hello, everyone, Roland.
Gee, I wonder who you got that from.
I mean, that's so shop worn. I mean, everybody has done it.
Well, a lot of people are only used to seeing me go live with Chuck from Chuck Chases the Facts. So I decided that it was a good idea to break things up because, Roland and I, we spend a lot of time off camera talking to one another. So, and everyone knows how talented Roland is. And we love all of your music, Roland. And I like to be able to kind of put it up there on my channel for everybody to hear. So I thought this would be fun.
Well, I appreciate it. And, it's really funny is that on my, some of these songs that I have them on my channel and it takes forever to get 100 views. And some of these things I put on there, I mean, I look at it, it's like 3,000. How is this possible?
Yeah, it's coming from other sources.
I'm very fortunate, to have my songs on your channel, and I will continue to do so.
Oh, it's no problem. We really all enjoy your music. We all enjoy it a lot. So,
I got a message from Michelle Thornboy. She wanted her song played.
Okay. Well, maybe we can do that towards a little bit further into when more people are here.
Yeah, I basically I have it on here. I can probably play it off from here and get it to. It shouldn't have any interruptions or anything. So just let me know when.
Oh, great. Okay. All right.
Anyway,
I was going to say, let me say hi to a few people real quick that we have in the chat while we're kind of waiting. Let's see. We have Randy. Randy, I am waiting on some vanilla chai tea. Roland, he wants to know what kind of tea you're having.
Well, it's funny you mentioned that. I did make sure that I had some tea. Let me get to my screen here. Okay, there I am. I have my own specialty. Normally, as far as beverages, it's usually Diet Coke all the way.
Yes, but this is tea with Roland and Virgo.
Because it was tea time, I made sure I brought my THC.
There you go. So there's Michelle Thornboy. Hello, Michelle. The Cat Nat. Hello, Cat Nat. Rodent of Anger. Hello. Let's see. Yes, I love that name too.
Yeah.
Pat, we have hello, Pat. Let's see. Nicole. Hi, Nicole. And we're just popping away here. Yes, Jeff, we know. We know. Denise, hello, Denise. Yeah, we just wanted to pop in and say hello to everyone and give you guys some funny news. There's a couple of really interesting things that have happened today I wanted to share with you guys. Um, Jeff says, I think I'll just sit here silently. Oh no, don't do that.
No. You got to
We'd
participate.
love to hear from you.
Of
No
course.
matter how no matter how much you might give me a hard time, Jeff, I look forward to seeing your comments every time I'm live. So let's see. Teresa Hall. Hello, Teresa. It's been a little bit since I've been able to talk to you. I'm glad to see you. Power Cord Princess. Hello. And Virgo Jennifer. That's my twin there. Hello.
Oh.
And Randy is drinking Earl Green. So Earl Green, no, Earl Grey. I'm like, that's not right. Earl Green. What?
Well, that's when it's still growing on the bush.
Oh, okay. Not like solvent green.
No, Soylent Green. Oh yeah, where people are our most important product.
Yes, right. Hello, Sean and Steve. Nice to see you guys. So I have something funny to tell you that happened to me that was done to me by YouTube, everyone. And I know you don't know about this either, Roland, so I'm about to shake things up a bit. So for most of you that have been watching me for, quite a while, you have heard me say in the past that I'm very, very careful to ensure that I never break any kind of terms and conditions or any kind of copyright that isn't fair use or anything of that sort on my channel. The Virgo Triad channel has been up for more than 6 years and has never had any kind of a warning or strike against it whatsoever. And that is 100% true until today. So let me share with you what my first warning, it's not a strike, but it's a warning that I will be receiving a strike if this happens again, is over. I think you guys will find this to be very interesting. So about 2 weeks ago, I uploaded a video a collaboration of videos that I had put together that were 100% complete satire. They were of a comedian who regularly reads comments on the internet that are atrocious spelling and things that are on the fringe, a lot of QAnon posts and stuff like that. I uploaded it in a collaboration for personal use in a private video that did not go out to the public at all. Roland was one of the friends that I sent that to. Do you know what I'm speaking of, Roland? The video I sent to you about 2 weeks ago of the comedian that was reading QAnon posts.
Oh yeah.
Yes. Okay.
The dramatic reader guy.
Yes. The very title of the video is Dramatic Readings from Flat Earthers and Q Satire. In capital letters, it says satire. Oh boy.
Since you started the YouTube story, 2 goals.
Wow. Well, let me continue. Let's see what happens here with the goals. Okay, so today I decided that I was going to do some work on the house, and I've been away from YouTube all day long. As most of you probably know, I uploaded a video last night that said I won't be available on, today, Friday, because I am going to be doing other things. Okay, so today was my day of kind of looking over how atrocious spring cleaning might be this year, and it's not going to be fun. And doing some things that, I just needed to get done around the house, laundry and stuff. I come back this evening at around 6 o'clock. I look at my YouTube to see whether I need to respond to any comments or anything of that sort. And check this out. I get this comment from YouTube in my email that says, warning, misinformation detected on your channel. Check it out, guys. I'm the disinformation channel of like the last 5 years that absolutely will call out anyone who gives disinformation out, right? And they have the audacity to give me a warning strike for disinformation on a video that is private, not public. But not only that, says satire in capital letters right in the fucking
Yeah,
title.
I remember that. Yeah, I mean, it's like it. Well, that's the problem when people agree to be ruled by an algorithm. I'm sorry, an algorithm is an educated guess, maybe a better educated guess than most, but
Mm-hmm.
still, it's a guess. And it's when the software says that, and then YouTube says, "Hey, well, that's good enough for us," and wham.
Yeah. So, can you guys believe that after 5 years of fighting disinformation, the algorithm is not smart enough to recognize that I'm a channel that is a trusted channel? Matter of fact, I make my own decisions based on the monetization because I pretty much know what is limited, what is prohibited, what I was one of those that was chosen to do that, and they have the audacity to choose that video. So whatever, I have appealed it. I'm certain it will be removed, but regardless, it was unbelievable to me. Let me say hi to a couple of people here. West Haven, hello, and Mike, hi. I think that's it. That's new. Okay, go ahead.
But
I'm sorry, Roland.
here's what annoys me about that whole thing is that if there were actually a clearinghouse that you could contact that would respond in a timely fashion to the contesting of strikes and disinformation and stuff like that, it would be a whole lot easier. But no,
Right. This will take up to 10 days. This will
yeah,
take up to 10 days to have reviewed and for them to come back and remove the warning strike. It was nice of them that they gave me a warning
warning,
instead of
yeah,
just striking it because I would have been super pissed. And in addition to that, they would have removed me off of YouTube for a week,
yeah, that'd be
which
ridiculous.
would have been real fair, as you guys know. But regardless, so that interesting little ditty happened today.
Yeah, that's the thing that annoys me is it's kind of like the episode you had with Sean Z's music that
Yeah.
he gave you permission to post it there.
It's really funny to me that YouTube's copyright office, who knows my content also very well, would ever think that I would upload anyone's albums without absolute permission. And the sad part about that is that Sean actually wrote to them within 4 or 5 days before I ever did that video.
Yeah, I mean it's.
I
I'm
mean, you
waiting
guys,
for
it's
them
gotten straightened out. It's okay. Everything's fine now. But YouTube is really seriously behind the ball right now, more than I've ever seen before.
well, there's actually people I've heard about and that are actually having strikes waged on their channel from material that they posted up to 3 years ago.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, because, we were like, for things that have to do with talking about specific illnesses and that sort of thing, if there's information that doesn't jive with what is being said now, that is a potential issue. If there is something popping up on a group of people that they do not any longer want on YouTube, for example, Q, those things are being dealt with. We were asked, hey, if you've got this kind of content, go back and remove it because we're going to be heading through with our algorithms.
Yeah.
So that's a little bit more understandable. Except for that, you don't always remember what you did 3 years ago. 3 years is a long time. You would have to I'd have to go back through almost 1,000 videos to find
Yeah.
out what I did 3 years ago.
Well, I have 14 years worth of music on my current computer because as I upgraded, I just move it the disk drives to the next
Right.
one, next one, and all that. So there's stuff on here that goes back to 2007.
Yeah.
Do I know every piece of music that's on there? Not a
Yeah.
chance.
It's just
And
too much.
I wrote the crap.
Yeah. Yeah. I know. Hello to everyone that just popped in. I'm sorry I can't name you off personally right now. The chat is going a little bit faster than normal in the studio part. I think I'm Dizzy is here and Binary, and I know a couple of other people too. If I missed you, I apologize. We have some fun talk to do, Roland and I.
Yeah.
So I wanted to ask you, Roland, what do you think about what's going on with the arrest of Pauline Ritchie, aka Light Tajiri Bay?
Oh yes, aka low calorie Tajiri Bay, aspartame Tajiri Bay, saccharin Tajiri Bay, cyclamate Tajiri Bay, and don't forget xylitol.
Yes, all of them put together. What do you think of this
well,
scenario?
well, I think her the stunt that really stood out for me is her attempt to create her own language, which is the most charitable opinion I can give you on that one is a failure. I mean, there are, and maybe there are people in the chat who are familiar with this particular language. It became very popular in the late 60s and throughout the 70s. Esperanto. If you remember, Nat King Cole sang about that, Esperanto men have named you. But anyway,
Yes,
yeah, so in any case, Esperanto was supposed to be a new language that it incorporated parts of other languages in addition to bits of English. It was supposed to be an easy to understand language. Anybody could learn it. It's very simple. I'm not a linguist by any stretch of the imagination, and I mean I struggled my way through German when I lived there,
Yeah.
and when I was on tour. But I love the language. I mean, the German language, to me, it's something that makes sense because I'm more like that geek kind of a brain. It's very mechanical. A lot of words are compounded and stuff. Well, Esperanto was one of those languages. They were trying to simplify things so that everybody could speak a
So it
common.
was a great big pot of everybody.
I might actually, when the libraries open up again, what I'm thinking about doing, I'm threatening to go there and see what I can find there about, if there are any books that teach how to learn and speak Esperanto, just for my own curiosity.
Yeah.
But yeah, low calorie Tajiri Bay, she doesn't come anywhere close. Putting an E at the end of things and
Double
misspelling,
R's and
yeah, that doesn't work. I mean, there are 3-year-olds learning to write that do that kind of stuff.
right. Well,
So,
just to break everything down for you guys, I know you've been watching the videos and stuff, but let me just break down kind of what's going on. So there was apparently back in 2017 an arrest, and I do not know what the arrest was for. I can only guess based on the background check that I did, a couple of months ago. And hi, Freighter, and that background check actually said that she had a couple of DUIs, driving while under the influence. I don't know if this pertains to that or something else, so don't quote me on that. That's all I was able to locate, though. But just so you guys are aware, when I pull background checks, there's a 6-month leeway time in between when something happens and when something is updated on those background checks. So if something happened, say 3 months ago, and I pull a background check today, it's not necessarily going to reflect what happened 3 months ago. I wasn't able to find anything else on the background check, but just in case that was not it, we know there was an arrest, but we don't know what, or at least a court order, but we don't know necessarily that that's for sure what it was for. I'm only guessing. In 2017, she was deep into this with Taj Tariq and, of course, our favorite Sharon Tracy Gale. They were just beginning the Moorish American consulate, and apparently, twice she did not show up to court. So she has failure to appear charges on her docket currently. All right, so there's those failure to appear because she believes she's above the law and doesn't need to. She has a previous case, and then she's got the current one. Now, this current one is a trespassing charge. She also has a charge for lying or not giving proper information to the police officers. So she first gave her name as Light Tajiri Bay and did not give her name as Pauline. The way they found out that she was Pauline Ritchie was by taking her fingerprints. All right, so there's that. And the trespassing charge was based around the fact that she refused to actually leave. Oh, we're goaling again.
No, that was my alarm to tell me to take my meds.
Oh, take your meds. All right. So her trespassing charge was based around the fact that she was caught on a property that they currently have been looking at, claiming they were going to turn it into the Moorish Postal Service. And this property was an old Bally's that someone set fire to. And after they set fire to it, there were people that were supposed to be in there cleaning it out. And there is, of course, an owner of that property. That owner was contacted by one of the cleaning personnel and was and called the police and said, hey, we need these people, these two people that are walking around and posting all kinds of crazy paperwork and stuff, taken off my property. This is my property. So the police department went forward with ensuring that it was indeed his property, listed under his name, listed under his company's name, and that he indeed was, the person that could trespass them. They went out and met him at the property, and they said, we'll watch you ask them to leave. He went and he asked them to leave, and they would not speak to him. She just turned like he wasn't speaking to her. So the police said, hey, you know what? You either leave now or you will be arrested for trespassing. And the gentleman that was with her did decide to go ahead and start walking towards the vehicle. Pauline turned and walked towards the building and never responded to the police whatsoever. Ultimately ended up being arrested and had to be carried to the police car because she refused to walk on her own. And the man which I know who it is, but I'm not going to disclose on this live. I will talk about him in a later video. Was just stood on the corner and watched the whole thing. They did come and they impounded the vehicle. I believe it was the company that actually impounded the vehicle. She basically sat in the back of the cop car talking to the so-called ancestors the whole time they were trying to get any kind of information from her whatsoever. So that was when they decided to go ahead and take her fingerprints by electronic device. That's when they found out that her fingerprints matched the fingerprints of Pauline Ritchie /Moore, which is actually her hyphenated last name, Moore, not Moor.
You didn't add an E to that one?
Huh?
She didn't add an E to that one?
No, she didn't add an E to that one. They went ahead and booked her and put her in a holding cell in Kent, to which she was then extradited to Score in Federal Way, or in King County, which is the same county that her home address is in Federal Way. And she was then subsequently held for 10 or 11 days, I believe it was, and saw the judge a couple of times in there. And then evidently someone came and bailed her out, and she went on general release and then came back and started telling crazy stories. Now, the last story that we got with regards to this arrest was that this was her being tested by the ancestors, and she needed to go through this to ensure that she knew what to tell her subjects and so on and so forth. And that once she got in there, they really knew what she was talking about, and they treated her different, and they got her a bench, and they tried to get her to to stand on it and all kinds of stuff. I mean, just crazy stuff. Okay, so supposedly, though, she was holding court there in jail, and she was running the whole thing to hear her tell it. But the truth is, she was extradited to SCORE, which is a larger facility. She had to wait out until she was able to see the judge, and she was not released based on the fact that she had failure to appear back from 2017. As a matter of fact, she even mentions a slight amount of truth. She even mentions in her broadcast that I heard them say if she had just shown up to court before, or if she had just held court before, something of that extent, if she just didn't let it go on so long. Well, the truth is, failure to appear will get your butt in the slammer real fast and not released on anything but a very high amount of bail. And that her bail was not inexpensive. It wasn't 10%. It was $4,500 according to the docket, which is quite a bit for a trespassing charge.
Yeah.
Okay, so here we go. Somebody bails her out. She comes home. She starts telling wild stories. But she's not only doing that. She's also speaking to another Moore who fancies himself a quote-unquote private attorney general.
Don't tell anybody.
Yeah. Now, here's the funny thing. You guys might remember a little guy, and I don't say that lightly, a little guy by the name of Anthony Troy Williams, who also pretended to be a private attorney general, which now will not see the light of day for many, many years. If this person actually knew that what that term private attorney general actually means, he would stop using it right away. But regardless, I digress from that. I'm going to move on with the Pauline story. He gets on the phone with her public defender and records the call, in which whether the public defender knows that he recorded the call or not is yet to be seen, we'll say. But the fact that the public defender is now on YouTube being made to look like she agrees with them, although it clearly is not what's going on behind the scenes, because I spent a little while on the phone with the court yesterday, and I was informed that her new court date, of course, is March 16th at 1:15 in the afternoon in courtroom 2. And that she is far from out of trouble. And the majority of the crap that she has said on YouTube is absolutely just asinine. Like, where does this even come from? Pauline has gone in for the last 2 videos to make claims such as these. One is that she is leaning the judge and the state's attorney's office or the prosecuting attorney. She's going after the jail. You know, how many times do you guys hear me say it's always better for law enforcement when they film their own evidence of crime? And that's exactly what she's doing. And I thought to myself, after seeing the one yesterday that she put up, I thought, nobody in their right mind would do this. This is not just stupidity.
Yeah.
Stupidity eventually will stop you once you've been arrested. This is not just stupidity. Something else is going on here. I went back to about a year and a half ago, and I watched one of Pauline's videos. And I realized she looked very different back then. If you go back and you take a look at what her eyes looked like, she looked alive and she looked like she knew that she was maybe doing something that was duping others, but she didn't look hypnotized. Now you watch her videos and her eyes are just blank. I believe that Pauline has drank her own Kool-Aid, so to speak.
Yeah.
So I had an interesting conversation as I was telling Roland. I'm sorry, Roland. I know I'm not letting you speak in the middle of this.
Oh, don't worry about it. I'm breaking records. That little stint there. That's probably the longest I've never said anything ever.
Well, I
So
just want
don't
to make
worry
sure
about
I get everything in the story out so we can discuss
it.
it.
Yeah,
But
no, yeah. You go with the story there because you know me, I'm just the buffoon later on. But you got more important information to put
oh,
out.
you're not a
So go ahead.
buffoon.
Oh,
So
sure.
yes, we are right. The catnap glazed over. That's exactly what they look like. And if you guys recall, while we watched Sharon Tracy Gale go through her different steps, hers began to look glazed over like that. And I thought, you know what? I have a second degree. You guys are aware of that. I have a degree in psychology, but I do not use it for the purposes that many do. It was something that I had looked at very seriously into getting into at one point, and decided that it was not something that I needed to do. So I stuck with my finance degree. But this particular degree allowed me to meet a lot of very interesting people that did take it further. And one of those people has been in, uh, well, they are a psychologist. They particularly see certain types of people. Those people happen to be members of cults that are attempting to try to get out of cults, and they happen to be people that are highly conspiratorial or on the fringe, we would call it. So I got in touch with him and I gave him 4 of Pauline's videos to watch. The first one was one that was done way back, uh, right when she was getting Sharon into it. The next one was done right before the arrest, and the other 2 were the one that where she explained her arrest and what was happening, and then the one that she put up yesterday. And he watched them, and he came back with, this is a classic case of delusional disorder, and he called it mixed delusional disorder. Now there are apparently 5 points in the DSM, uh or the DMS 5. Is it the DMS 5?
Yeah, DSM.
Yeah, DSM 5, sorry. They've been out of it way too long, guys. But there are 5 different points to delusional disorder. 2 of those points she fits into. One is persecutory, where she feels that she's been persecuted, that her people have been persecuted, and where she feels that she absolutely has to watch her back on a regular basis. But the second one, and the most prevalent one, is the grandiose, which is where you believe you're a god, or you believe that you should be referred to as a god or looked upon as a god. And that glazed over look, he said he has seen hundreds of times. So I got to the point where I thought, maybe I should do a video on this and actually do some form of an outcry to Mark, which is her brother, Mark Ritchie, because the last thing that was said to me before I hung up the phone was, hey, I know what you do, and I know that you are specifically after the disinformation part of it, but this is someone who needs some help. So maybe if you have any opportunity to speak to a family member, if they care at all, how far down she might go before she hits bottom, you might want to try and reach out to them.
Now,
So I
Mark
want to
Ritchie.
see what you guys think about that. Go ahead, Roland.
Yeah, Mark Ritchie. I mean, have you been able? I mean, he's not in that circle?
He's considered Shalimar Bay. I have actually done an exposure video on him, and about 10 days after I did it, he removed himself from the Moorish American consulate, and I haven't heard from him since. That
Mm.
doesn't mean he's not still involved, but I do know that she's got other family members too, and I would think that Mark would care enough about his sister to know. I can certainly provide him with the information that was provided to me on this disorder, because as I said, the doctor that I spoke to was very concerned after watching these videos.
Yeah. No, hopefully he has really stepped away from it. But yeah, if you're able to contact him in any way, any fashion, it might be a good idea. I mean, yeah, I don't, people who, I mean, there are people who are goofy, and you
Mhm.
can kind of look at it and say, yeah, it's just an act and all that. But when it's really something from within, there's nothing funny about that.
Right. Well, I think that a lot of this, from the standpoint of where the psychologist was looking at it, is he watches with delusional disorder the separation of fantasy and reality, and yet they're still capable of functioning in society. And in the case of Pauline, she sounds just with it enough that she might actually know what she's talking about, which is why she still has a few followers. Um, but the thing is that she clearly is beginning to believe all of this, or has decided to believe all of this, and it's no longer just duping people as it is with the majority of them. She has jumped into the deep end of the rabbit hole, and I think he is truly scared that she may never come out.
Mm.
A
No,
lot of and again, let me just add a caveat here for you guys. This was in no way an attempt to try to get a medical diagnosis on Pauline. I simply wanted an opinion of someone who had been in this type of work for many, many years and had seen many cult members come out of their brainwashing. I wanted to know whether or not this was the doing of Taj Tariq, or potentially whether this was something that she had just fabricated in her own mind, by using their teachings. And what I got was rather scary. Um, I know that, not a lot of you have any sympathy for Pauline, but she is a human. And I honestly feel that it's important that we look out for one another, even if that person is flawed in other ways. So that's why I thought I'd run it by you guys and see what you thought. I mean, I certainly can send an email to Mark and let him know. He may even hear this broadcast. Sadly enough, I don't think that these Moors that are following the scammers realize that in a lot of ways, those of us that are calling them out care about the followers more than the leaders do.
yeah. Here's the thing about the followers that concerns me. When, say, for example, say you have a leader who has sucked people into that circle of disinformation. Okay,
Mhm.
now when at some point they have that moment of enlightenment where they realize, wait a minute,
A lot
what
of them have.
what
I've got a
what
lot
am,
of them in my
what
chat.
am I saying? And then says I can't have anything to do with this. How many times is it that the one of the followers will say, this is all totally valid, but he slash she sold out, and so I'm taking over here. Follow me, and then and it just keeps going. I mean, there's a it, kind of like what they used to have in the military during World War II. Like, it'd be blood stripes. If a officer got blown away, another one would come along
Right, right.
and
No,
and
I get it.
take over. So that's a big concern also. Even if she came to her senses and said, "Wait a minute, what am I doing to my life?" and walking away, somebody else is going to step in the shoes because anytime there's an opportunity.
Yeah, I know. Well, let me answer a couple of things here that are in the chat. Number one, Robert. Um, Robert Caslow says, so Moors and Sovsits get along. Moors and Sovsits are actually technically the same. In terms of the ideology that these online Moors are using. Now, we're not talking about the temple Moors where it's a religion. Totally different. I have no beef with those people. As far as the online Moors that use this ideology of they've got this vast estate, they own everything, they're the emperors and empresses and all of these other things, they have virtually the same ideology because it was borrowed from the Sovsit movement, which is really sad. So there's that. Now, Wonder Woman. I'm using your comment not because not because I disagree with you, but because my take on life is different. And let me explain what I mean by that. Your comment is you cannot save or fix everyone. All right. Number one, you can't fix anyone. They have to fix themselves. Number two, no, I do not view it as saving or fixing anyone. I view it like this. Internally, I have to look at myself and say, you're here for a reason. Your reason is to help others. And if you are not doing everything within you that you know is right in order to push that forward, can you move forward without looking back with regret? If the answer to that question is no, then I know what I have to do. And once I have done that, I move forward because I'm not the one that hangs around to wait and see if someone has been quote unquote fixed. But I am a firm believer that if you don't do everything within your power to help when it's costing you nothing, to be invested enough to know there's another human being that is in pain or is in need of help, if you don't do everything you can, and I'm speaking of only me, not anybody else, I have something that I will look back on and regret. It may not seem like it to a lot of people that is a necessity, but in my life, it is a necessity.
Yeah.
I don't know how that may sound strange or maybe even naive to some people, but it just happens to be the way I'm built.
Yeah.
I don't know, Roland, what do you think? Does that sound naive to you?
Oh, no, it makes perfect sense. I mean, there have been people who have decided to take drastic actions in their life, and the worst thing they can do, well, not the worst thing, but if they expect me to just sit silent and let them do it, forget it. Anybody who chooses a permanent solution to a temporary problem, I have problems with that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I've said many times, life is a roller coaster. Yeah, there's going to be dips in there, but
Yep.
if you ever ride a roller coaster, it's going to go back up.
Right.
And is it going to dip again when you get to a certain peak? Sure, it will.
Yeah.
Maybe not as much, but you're going to get that. I mean, at 67 years, you learn very quickly that nothing is permanent.
That's right. That's right.
And so when somebody suggests something like that, because I used in a law office, we had clients that would call up and they weren't happy with the way things were going, and they say, "Well, I just ought to end it all right now." I tell them basically the same thing. Said, "Look, don't do it. You're talking about a permanent solution to a temporary problem. If you need to talk to somebody, I would suggest you talk to someone who knows what they're speaking about, who can actually provide you not necessarily help, but guidance to make you to cause you to think things through a little bit more than you're probably doing right now." Now, if they do that and later on say, "Oh man, I'm glad you took that time," great. If they just say, yeah, forget that clown and do it anyway, you can't fix it. I mean, people who work with, people who want to off themselves will tell you, if a person does it one time, they can do it again. And I've known people who have done that. And, they finally came out of it, thankfully. But, you have to, if you have the tools and the knowledge, you have to try.
Right. That's my feeling on it. And the other thing is that I think Wonder Woman, knowing me personally, would be apt to be able to tell you guys also that I am also a firm believer in having strong boundaries. So it's not a matter of me pining after someone because of the fact that they have a problem and I want to fix it. I'll do what I can, what I know is right, and then move on because my role in that is over. And in the event that they come back and they want to be, nasty or ugly or whatever, there's a boundary that will fly up real quickly. So, it's a little different than what you might see in relationships where a lot of women believe they can change men to be what they want and all of these other things. No, that is not Virgo in any way, shape, or form. And the other person who can probably tell you pretty quickly here that that is absolutely what my personality is Alan. Alan Alan Clapp, who's in the chat right now, and I actually don't see eye to eye on a few things, but he's been subscribed to me long enough to understand that um our general idea or worldview of how to be decent human beings are 100% the same. So it's a matter of just ensuring, I think, that we don't forget that no matter how much we might not agree with what someone's doing, we don't have to live their life. We don't walk in their shoes, and they are still human. They're still a part of us, even though we may not want them to be 99% of the time. And if we can do something to assist humanity, we should. But in this case, because this is such a live wire right now in
Yeah.
terms of what we are battling from the watchdog standpoint, I wanted to bring it to all of you and see what your opinions were. Am I stepping over a boundary that does not need to be stepped over? Should I reach out? And if not, why? So that's where I'm at with it. And I value each and every one of your opinions. Randy, yes, absolutely. If a doctor truly thought that way, why would they even try at all? Yeah. I mean, I understand where Wonder Woman's coming from, that she's more apt to say she's gone too far, she doesn't deserve to have the humanity of blah blah blah. Don't be a fool. Because this is Wonder Woman's personality is more of I'm going to shield myself and those that I care about, and I'm
Right.
not going to even mess with it. I'm a little bit more of a daredevil when it comes to, hey, you know what? I want to be able to say I did everything I could, even though I might despise the actions of that person. Um, and I just want to see where everybody stands, on it.
Yeah.
So what
No.
about you, Roland? What do you think?
Yeah. You're no. No. You're right. I mean, like I said, I totally agree. If there's any way that you can get in contact with someone who can, they're not going to shake any sense into her. I mean, at least get her to think about the long
Talking
range ramifications of what she's doing. This makes a whole lot more sense. In
Yeah,
my personal life, one thing I do not get involved in is personal relationships.
right.
When when a couple breaks up and the other one says, "Oh yeah, well, you're just gonna throw me out the door," I will not say a thing.
Yeah,
I'm not.
bad idea. Yep.
Yeah, I'm not gonna, I'm not gonna commiserate or, because as soon as you start doing that, and anybody who's ever done this may agree with me or not, when as soon as you start to commiserate with them and say, "Oh yeah, well that guy was a loser," you deserve better than that, blah blah, and just let that go. Try thinking that's reinforcement for them. That's all wonderful. 2 weeks later, they're back together, and now you're the bad guy. Yeah, so
Mhm.
no, I'm not playing that game ever again.
Sean says, and I put a lot of stock into what Sean says because I think he's a very sensitive individual.
Yeah,
Like I said before, her husband and daughter left and want nothing to do with her. So, not sure about her brother or any other family. We know Sharon's family distanced themselves. Yes, Sharon's family distanced themselves. For sure. I know that her sister came on my channel and put a comment back about a year ago saying, hey, she needs to get out of this. Her kids are suffering, so on and so forth.
yeah,
Um, but here's the thing, Sean, and just think about this for a second, because I actually rose this question yesterday when I was speaking to the psychologist. What about family? What about if family has stepped away? And the answer was family is more likely to step away when something like this happens, primarily because most of the time family has not spent years and years studying psychology, so they don't know what's wrong with her. They're more apt to go off of personal emotion. And their emotion is saying, I disagree with this. You're harming yourself. You're harming all of us. And we simply don't want anything to do with you anymore until you have come out of this nastiness that you've gotten yourself into. And they're not necessarily recognizing that this is potentially something serious from the standpoint of a medical disorder.
Yeah.
So let me just throw that in there for you to think about, Sean, because like I said, I value your opinion, and I want to see, if that makes a difference for you. For me, it made a bit of a difference because I can see where family might actually step away for reasons that are strictly emotional. That's why if you have a father that's a doctor and you have appendicitis, your doctor and father don't get to operate on you.
Yeah.
Let's see. Liz, are you being funny? If a man needs your kidney, give him your liver as well, even if he doesn't need it. Are you
Hey,
being funny, Liz?
I like liver, especially when it's smothered in onions. Oh man. Wrong liver? Sorry.
Wonder Woman says, I changed my mind. Yes, if there is a chance, take it. You remind me to remember my humanity. Oh,
Wonder Woman, I want to say this right here and right now. This this is the sign of a true human being, humanitarian. The possibility that one's thinking can evolve. I mean, and it doesn't make a person good, bad, or anything like that. It's just simply the fact that this is, I mean, it's times like this that can bring that out. So, good on you, Wonder Woman.
it's funny because the more strife, the more trauma that you've had recently in your life, the more you can back away and forget about really about, being about humanity. You're in that self-protection mode, that scared of everything place that we all get to at times. I know when I recently lost a family member, I was there. Wonder Woman, I know you've been there recently. There are a few people that I know of that have been there, and people that know you, and I can say this from personal experience, people that know you are like, what is wrong with that person? Why are they not seeing certain things? And it's because you're using every single attribute that you've possibly got in your personality to maintain sanity and protect yourself from getting hurt any further. But you've got to come out of that at some point, because if you don't, then you're joining the side or the small percentage of people that we call sociopaths, that have no empathy for others, that aren't able to see why it's important to give, why charity is important, why it's important to take care of our elderly, why it's important not to judge people based on race and culture. So yeah, it's easy to fall into, especially if you have a lot of trauma at one point, and everyone can forgive that. But let's come back out the other side being who we would want to see other people treat us like if we were struggling, I think. I believe if you can help a fellow human being, then help them. Yes, Catnap. I had a feeling you would feel that way, Cat. Let's see. Who
I don't
else?
think we have any cold, unfeeling people in the chat at all. I
No.
mean, I think one of the reasons that they're here, I mean, it makes all the difference,
Yeah, no, I agree. I think that I have just an incredible group of people that are subscribed to Virgo Triad. And I know that, the majority of them that are subscribed to Chuck, and many that are subscribed to other watchdogs also are very caring people. But I think that it's easy to, at times, to get wrapped up in life and forget to do certain things. And
especially now.
yeah, especially now. Wonder Woman, I had an 8-year separation from my family. In the end, we came back together and we reconciled. If I hadn't tried, I wouldn't have had the last 3 years with my mom. That's very true.
Yeah.
That's true. But it's easy, especially, believe me, thinking and acting in this manner, I have to do it on a daily basis because, there are people that come up on my channel, they disagree with damn near everything. They disagree with me debunking Sovsits. They disagree with me debunking Moors. They disagree with something that I'm putting out that's factual, and think that instead of it just being factual, it's my personal worldview or political ideology. And that's why I always have to remain centered, because if I don't remain centered, and still kind and giving and loving, but draw good boundaries too, if I don't remain that way, I can't continue to maintain my channel. So I have to do it on a daily basis. But as just generally walking around, I have to struggle with it too. I have to think about, I see someone yelling at their dog. You guys know how I am about my babies.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm thinking to myself, do you not realize? Look at that dog's eyes. That dog has a soul. That dog feels every damn thing you're saying to it. There's nothing that dog could have done to warrant you cursing at it and saying the things you're saying.
Yeah.
The problem is the human attached to the dog does not understand the dog, and mainly doesn't understand that when a dog does something wrong, generally it's a human error, not the dog's fault.
Yeah.
But I have to take a few steps back and recognize this is a problem with the person, and that person actually needs help understanding the dog better, not the other way around.
Yeah.
If I have time, I might walk over there and say, hey, you could try this, or you could try this lead, or you could try this collar, or you could try this other thing. They might respond better. And I may get told to fuck off. Happens. But I tried. There you go. And that boundary goes up and I'm done.
Great.
But I have to try. So let's see. I believe you just listed quite a few rabbit holes. Is that me or is that someone else?
Yeah. The thing, there's an old joke, I think Red Fox used at one time, when he said that it really made him upset when somebody says, get that dumb dog out of here. It's a fool. How can you call that dog dumb when he can understand English and you can't speak dog?
That's right.
So,
that's right. We've been trying for a very long time to learn bork, and it has not worked. But I'll tell you what. So this you'll find interesting, because I know you're a canine lover too, Roland. Yeah. So one of Little Man's favorite channels, you guys, is Bonnie's channel. And if you guys don't know who Bonnie is a dog who learned how to speak sentences with these little buttons where her mom puts in different words and Bonnie makes sentences out of them in English so her mom can understand what she needs.
Oh yeah, I've seen her channel, and yeah, these dogs are amazing.
Yeah, they are, and it is embarrassing, you guys. It is embarrassing. Let me tell you. You want to be embarrassed by an animal who can show us how stupid we really are? Yeah. So I decided to buy 4 of these buttons about a month ago and attach them to this foam and put, just simple words like outside, love, mom, and hungry.
Yeah.
All right, we are now on our third $20 expenditure through Amazon for buttons, because all 3 are telling me on a regular basis everything they want to say, but then get frustrated when they don't have a button for what it says. Our dogs are so much smarter than what we ever realized. And yes, they know English. So when you sit and you talk about them, they know every damn thing you're saying. And there have been times when I thought Little Man was telling me something, that he was really telling me something else, and I feel like a complete idiot.
Now, I told you about our Australian Shepherd who had her own vocabulary. And for those who weren't familiar with this, I used to work in the law office, and there was no 8 to 5. You got out of there when stuff got done, or the boss left, or whatever. And I would get home. Most of the time, I'd get home late. Well, by the time my car came around the corner, she knew that it was me because she knew the sound of my car. And so I'd pull into the driveway, and she was already standing by the door. And I would walk in, and she'd start herding me, because it's an Australian Shepherd. They're herding animals. They're very good at it.
Yeah,
It's a natural instinct. She would herd me over to her food dish with her snout, and then I'd get the food and I'd start pouring it in there. And she distinctly said on more than one occasion while I'm doing this. Where were you? Yeah, because she had heard that from everybody else, and so, she adopted that. I mean, they have I think it's been proven that they have the vocabulary of a possibly a 4 to 5 year old child.
80,
I believe it.
Yeah, 80 to 120 words is what I've been told. And the funny part about it is, thank you so much, John, for the $5 super chat. I really appreciate it. And thank you, Wonder Woman. That's very kind of you. So yeah, I am completely shocked. And I was just sitting, I know you guys will think I'm a total sap for saying this, but I was sitting in tears after watching a video yesterday where someone else was training their dogs. I think that more like the dogs are training us, but okay. With these buttons that we're trying to get them, attached to so that they can talk to us. And the comment was, Mom, why do you leave me? And the mom says to the dog, which is a collie, by the way,
Oh, yeah.
I have to leave. I have to go to work. I can't feed you if I don't go to work. And the dog says, but I love you.
Oh, man.
And that made me realize they don't understand sometimes why we leave. They don't get it, that it's for them as well as for us. And they think when we leave that we don't realize how much we love them or they love us, and that they should technically be going with us.
Yeah.
And I just sitting there bawling like a baby because it's so obvious in their faces when you have to go to the store or you have to go to work, or I know I'm a big sap.
No, just the fact that, that was able to be communicated. I mean, yeah, I would have been in tears too. I'll be the first to admit it.
I'll send you a video, Roland, so you can watch it.
Yeah,
it was just unbelievable.
Yeah, but ours. I mean, if somebody came over that she hasn't seen, she would bark. And all I had to tell her is like, no, he's supposed to be here, and she'd go lay down and never. And if he had to come back again, no problem. I mean, she knew.
Yeah.
It's like, okay. Of course, they do a lot by scent and stuff like that. So
Yes.
once they smell that person, oh, he's supposed to be here. Okay, that connection is there, forever.
Right.
And when I would do certain things, like all I'd have to do is say, "Want some dog ice cream?" She goes straight for the freezer, and
yeah.
We never gave her any chocolate or anything like that. We're no fools, but she loved vanilla. She'd
They
have a little.
can have carob.
Yeah, well, it's too late now, but still.
Yeah, no, but I'm just saying for your next one, because we've got to find you another one.
Yeah, well, I'm going to find somebody to fix this gate, and that will make life a whole lot easier overall. My next door neighbor who does welding says, "Oh, I figured out how to do it," and there's part of me that wants to say, "Well, okay, let's see what you figured out."
Yeah.
But he's a nice guy, but he's doing all kinds of rebuilding of his house. He had, I guess some flood or something in there, and so, doing floors and drywall and all that stuff. I don't need to get in there about it. I'd pay somebody else to do it. I mean, I really don't care who does it as long as they do it.
Yeah, right. Well, let me just say hello to House of Malice too, because I don't believe you've been in a chat that I've had the opportunity to see you before. And House of Malice is an awesome subscriber to the Virgo Triad channel, and quite often puts comments up that are funny but can be questionable at times. But I love them because they always make me laugh, even if I can't let every single one of them go through. Know that I am laughing behind the scenes. And thank you so much for joining the chat. I really appreciate it. Let's see. I have a couple of requests here. One is, can I post a link for Bonnie's channel? I absolutely can. Give me just one moment and I will look that up. And freighter dogs, let's see, dogs are parachuted into the Alps to rescue skiers. Cats aren't stupid enough to let themselves be thrown out of a plane. And the last job a cat held was God of Egypt. Yes, cats are a totally different story, but we can also look at it like dogs are courageous enough to go out of that plane too. So, it all depends on the point of view.
Yeah, it would be nice to have a button you could push that would solve everything. And I had one, but I don't think it's actually worked as well as it claims.
That was easy.
What was that?
Oh, it's I think that was that Staples or Office Depot.
Oh,
Yeah, the easy button. You just push it.
That was easy.
oh, I see. Okay. So I was going to, that's exactly what the buttons look like, by the way.
Yeah.
I'm going to find Bonnie's channel for everyone. So can you take over for just a couple seconds here?
Yeah, I would tap dance, but I'm on carpet, so that's not going to work. I'll come up with something else.
Okay. It shouldn't take me long.
Yeah, okay, no problem. Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing that one too because I've seen some of Bonnie's things there, and these dogs are incredible. Well, it's Friday here in the Pacific time zone. Anybody having? Oh, I have an update over here also. Update. Um, I got my first vaccine shot on the 24th of February. I have another one scheduled for the 24th of March, and that'll do it. Frank, who I was really concerned about because he works at a UPS store, he was like way on the bottom of the totem pole. And then somebody said, well, actually, he qualifies as community service because of all the customers he deals with every day. And he submitted his submitted his name and all that, and he got his shot 2 days ago. And so
That is so awesome. I'm so glad to hear that.
yeah, so I mean, it's a relief because tomorrow we're playing a memorial service at our church. The first time we've been back there in a year, and it's very limited. There's two soloists, of which Frank is one, and then I just play some keyboard stuff toward the end. But it's a very limited thing, but it's a way to kind of introduce everybody back to music again.
Oh, yeah.
Which I really miss. I mean, I was used to, coming up with stuff, and I would be able to play with my new toy because Frank's solo involves, playing guitar along with it too. So,
Oh, yeah.
so I'm really, really looking forward to it, and we're trying to get everything together for like Easter, where we can, start to get used to all of this. Hopefully everybody in there, which most of them have probably gotten their shots also, because the average age of the congregation is like 65, 70, so.
Right.
And we have one that's I think like 102.
Wow.
I mean, they stick around quite a while, and some of these people were founders when the church was founded in 1952. So they've been around a long, long time, and and then I go in there and go rock and roll, through the Sunday mornings, and they seem to like it. So
yeah. Well, that's good. I was going to mention here that Tay's auditors laugh like hell says that they want a German Shepherd or a Labrador Retriever, both excellent breeds.
Yeah.
Both excellent breeds. I mean, you guys know that I love Mastiffs and I love all of the Bulldogs. Boxers, of course, are my favorite out of those. But I've had many other breeds also. My father was a veterinarian, so I've been around animals my whole life. And I've had a couple of German Shepherds and a couple of Labradors, and they're both excellent breeds. I would say that if you want one that's not totally hyperactive, though, go with the German Shepherd.
Yeah.
Thank you, Freighter. That is so kind of you. I really, really appreciate it, you guys. One thing and this is not a request of any sort, but I'm just going to tell you guys, this illness has cut my revenue in terms of ad revenue or anything that I get to do my YouTube channel, my website, because it's not just YouTube, I have the website too. Literally by 75%.
No.
So anything you guys provide is so very helpful in keeping me in printer ink and that sort of thing, because this has just gotten unbelievably bad in terms of getting anything to help with any of the stuff that it costs to run the studio. Unbelievably bad. So thank you. I really, really appreciate it. Sean, you got, I believe Pauline needs clinical help. Also believe she needs to be away from her followers by telling them to commit. Yeah, I know. I understand. And, I think that one could serve the other. But as I said, I will leave it where it is. I will probably send an email to Mark. I will leave that where it is, and I will move on because that's all I'm capable of doing. Let's see. We got my first last week as well starting. Yay, Jeff! I'm glad. I worry about you guys. See what else we got here. From a professional standpoint, what kinds of treatment are there available for Pauline? For what she is experiencing, there is medication, but the majority of it is cognitive therapy. She would need to see a counselor or a psychologist on a regular basis, kind of to help her get unbrainwashed, because that's where she's at. And it would be good if they specialized in that. Let's see. The Moron song was great. Oh, I love all of Roland's stuff. House of Malice. He's just so good at what he does. Liz, hello, Liz. Let's see. Yeah, I was so happy to hear that Roland had gotten his second shot and that Frank had gotten his first. Oh my gosh. I still haven't come up, even with my immunity issue and the fact that I have not been out of the house for a year. I still have not gotten on the list where I'm located. So it's very concerning. And Michelle, yes, I suppose she could be, although that was not an automatic thing. I mean, that comes with that disorder. But generally that would have actually been found prior to this. Quite often this delusional disorder comes about with people that are just turning middle age. So it's not something that you're born with necessarily or anything like that. And I think that's why he went straight there. Liz, I think you're right about Sharon, though. I've thought that for a long time, and we probably would never know. She wouldn't say so. Good, Catnat. I'm so glad you got yours. So let me ask you guys a few things. Number one, would you guys like to see Roland and I do a couple of these per month? Maybe Roland, maybe tea with Roland and Virgo can be a Friday night thing. A couple of times a month. If you agree that you would like to hear conversations like this sort of conversation that we had, put a 1 in the chat. If you don't, just leave it blank. We won't get our feelings hurt. This is separate from the Odd Couple with Chuck and stuff like that. Just something that's a little bit different.
Well, as you can tell, the content of this is totally different than what we're normally known for doing on your channel or Chuck's channel.
That's right. Yeah. Yep. Absolutely.
This would be the tone that we'd be shooting for. And if I come up with any new material, I can, introduce that here as well for everybody. So, which is cool.
I think that, there's a different chemistry between Chuck and I. It's definitely more comedy based. You and I can kind of rip things apart a little bit more and bring it down to a level where we can really dig at things from a humanitarian standpoint. I think that's something that you and I have that we can provide. I wanted to mention also to you guys that next weekend on the 13th, Joe Palmetto, Joe the lawyer, and I are going to be going over quite a few of the Sobsit and Moore's legal cases and talking about that together. So we'll be doing a collaboration there.
Joe the lawyer rocks. I mean,
Yeah, Joe the lawyer. Mm-hmm.
And we usually drink the same thing too.
Well, that's got to give him a
during
one up.
during our same time sip.
So what do you think about that, Roland? You want to maybe start doing these a couple times a month?
Yeah, I'm definitely up for it. I mean, I'm here. I mean, I think the time that we started is good too, because if I have to, pick Frank up from work a little later, it gives me time to do that. And
yeah,
that's perfect.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
I think it's a great idea.
Judging from all the ones I've seen there in the chat, it looks like we have a winner.
It looks like it. Well, maybe we could do it every other week on Fridays, and we'll do it around the same time frame. We'll be able to advertise it ahead of time this time. Hello, Pete. Glad to see you here. And Iowa Hank. Let's see. What else was I going to mention? Okay, so for my main question here, do you guys feel, put a 1 in the chat, if you guys think I should attempt to try to reach out to Mark Ritchie and at least share with him the information that I received that was forwarded to me by the psychologist?
Yeah, well, I'm not in the chat at this point, but I would definitely say yes. So put me down for a 1 as well.
I'll put you down for a 1. Okay. And don't be afraid, you guys. Tell me what your honest opinion is. If you don't think that should happen, then put a 2. Just I just want to make sure that I'm not rocking the boat at all or anything with, like I said, boundaries. T for 2 with Virgo and Rolando.
Yeah, well, I have my T, so we're good. Yeah, I think this is one of those things that, and yes, I do drink tea. If somebody offers me tea, I will not turn my nose up to it.
You won't turn it down, huh?
No, well, I'll drink tea, I'll drink coffee, I'll drink beer, I'll drink screwdrivers, I'll drink.
Well, coffee is definitely, you guys know that I love coffee. Coffee and chocolate are definitely my 2, and Rocky Road ice cream. I have to really be careful. But because I'm not 20 anymore. I know you guys don't know that, but I'm not 20 anymore. Chuck says I'm 437 years old and I need to calm down on the caffeine. So I've decided to start drinking a little bit more tea. And what I have today is the Bigelow vanilla chai tea. And I've got to tell you guys, it's really good even without sugar.
I've had that before. It's actually, it is good. You can do it straight, and it actually tastes really nice.
I'm reading Wonder Woman's A Bong for 2 with Virgo and Rolando.
Yeah, but could you imagine how long that hose would have to extend from here? Okay, let's have our same time hit.
Quite a ways, yeah, quite a ways. Oh, House of Malice says that Chuck can't twerk again because it might mean that they need counseling. So,
it's interesting sometimes, but there's times you can't wind him down from that. Once you wind him up, he's a twerking machine.
He is, boy. He really is. But we all love Chuck dearly. This is, adding this in every other Friday with Roland is in no way, this is my disclaimer to Chuck, by the way, is in no way a hit upon the fact that I absolutely love doing live streams with Chuck. As you guys know, he's hilarious. I love him dearly. He's an excellent friend. So please, nobody think that, okay? It's just that I thought this would be an interesting way to kind of mix things up a little bit. Plus, I love talking to Roland, so, that helps too.
It gives, most of the time I talk to myself because, it's like, and I've said it before, Carrie's over here at the desk next to me most of the time. She's not right now, but normally she's here most of the time during the day because she works as a teacher, from 8 to 4.
Right.
And so Whereas things sound, they can sound fairly funny to most people who aren't exposed to it. She's had to listen to my greatest hits for the last 30 years. So, but I still can make her laugh, and that's extremely important. I get those moments. Everything else is just me just mumbling out loud to myself because, yeah, I still thought it was funny. But I tell you what, it's like, Carrie is amazing. She cannot be replaced.
I was really happy to be able to meet Carrie for the first time on Chuck's live stream. I think it was last week.
Yeah.
Or the beginning of the week or something like that. But I was very happy to finally meet her because I had not had the opportunity to say hi to her yet.
Yeah, you've heard the voice, but you haven't been able to place the face with the voice, which makes all the difference.
Right. Oh, one more thing I wanted to ask you guys before we hang it up here, which we were supposed to only go an hour, but we've been going for an hour and 20 minutes.
The time flies having fun.
It does. What do you guys think of my new moniker and my new banner on my channel?
Yeah.
Because I just put those up yesterday along with doing a new intro, which I know some of you have seen. I wanted to see if you guys liked this or not.
I love it. I mean,
you like it?
I like, and I don't know where the soundtrack came from, but it was pretty cool. I love that pulsing kind of thing going on.
Oh yeah, it took me like an hour to find something like that because I have two intros. One of them you guys haven't seen yet, and it's lightning. And so I, wanted to have something that would go along with the weather effects of both of those intros. And that one happened to work.
Yeah. Well, I love it. So,
good.
It's like, I think it's good. The only thing I know, there's those things where you put the fair use notice in there.
Mm-hmm.
I maybe it's just me, but I like to see a different background because the water in the riverbank is one of the things that knowing what I'm going to probably be seeing in the video itself, it's not going to be like, oh, this is a calming influence. Now that you're all calm, hey, guess who said what?
Well, let me tell you the reason why I've used that one for the last year. It was a gift from Vilified Freedom.
Okay.
That was the reason why I've used it for the last year. I think it's beautiful, and I do think it's a calming effect, but it will change this year because, as you see, I'm slowly updating everything, just like I'll be updating the website too.
Oh, you know what I can do for you now? I can do the star background with the little Star Wars crawl with the fair use information on it.
Oh, cool.
And I have a piece of music that I wrote at one point with that opening the Star Wars in mind. It was like I imagined that somebody said, John Williams put down his pen, he quit. We need a new theme, and I came up with something that fit. And if you actually played that whole piece of music, you'd see how that goes. But I'll put that together. I'll send it to you and see what you think.
Oh, that'd be awesome. Thank you so much, because I never even got to making a specialized fair use as much as I use it. And when Vilified Freedom made that one and said, hey, use this one, I was like, yeah, I'll use it, because I have not made one in probably 3 years. I'm just too busy doing other things. So that will really be very helpful. Thank you so much.
I'll fix that up for you. It will. Oh, okay. Now you don't have the facts matter on that particular intro that you have right now.
Yeah, it comes up with my moniker, which has the facts matter on it.
Oh, well, okay. Here's what I can do, because the way Star Wars opens up, it usually has the long time ago in a galaxy far, far away. Everybody in the chat, this is how things are created. Anyway, okay, you have the long time ago in a galaxy far, far away. I can put on there, yes, the facts really do matter, and then go into the crawl.
Cool.
So, yeah, I got the technology. I don't do the video stuff as much because as well as I do that that stuff is really labor intensive. I don't
It
care
is.
how effortless you can make it look. I mean, the amount of labor you got to put into those things to, get it all to fall into place. It's better than it used to be when you had to do it with film,
Yeah.
but it's still pretty involved. There are people who have shortcut things that you can do, and little editing boards you can do stuff with.
Templates and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, but that comes into money, and I don't do it enough to justify any of it. So I'll do it the
costs a lot.
old-fashioned way.
Okay, here are the two intros. So for the first intro, this I've used on 2 videos. The second intro no one has seen, so those of you in the chat will be the very first to see it. Here we go. So that's the very first one that I've used on 2 videos. Here is the second one.
Wow. I tell you what, maybe I shouldn't have done that last hit there, because that was psychedelic.
Which, you like the second one better or the first one?
Well, the first one's good, but the second one is like, it draws you to it. Just all the lightning going around in the circle and all that. It's both of them are effective.
Let's see.
Yeah, I see it too.
Oh, yeah, I think a lot of people like the second one better.
Yeah.
And that's kind of why I held it back, because I really wanted it to be on a specific video that I'm working on that's a little bit longer and has been more cumbersome to do. And I wanted that to be on it to really grab everybody's attention. But, I'm no good at holding things back from you guys. So, hi, Simon.
Speaking of sneak previews, why don't you treat them to an intro that is soon to appear on another channel?
Oh, are you talking about Vans, or are you talking about who's?
Yeah, we know who.
Well, I don't have permission to do that yet, though, because he hasn't seen it yet with the new moniker on it. Do you think I should do it anyway?
I think you should, because he had mentioned that he liked it, but he preferred the transparent version, which you've already done.
Okay.
So I think, and also remember, it's easier to get forgiveness than permission.
That's true. That is true. Let's go with that. Okay, you guys. So that being friends with Chuck can be sometimes, well, laborsome, we'll say. So here you go. This is Roland and I working on something for Chuck yesterday.
Looking at strange things on the internet and YouTube, Chuck chases the facts.
There it is, y'all. What do you think?
Yeah. I'll tell you this, coming up with 8 seconds of music for anything, it's kind of like those TV ads for like, by Menon.
Yeah.
I don't know who the agent is that gets those people. I mean, it's like, sign me up. I'll do those little jingles like that. Liberty, 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 liberty. And it's okay. So, you got a fast food client. I got you all covered. Eat this. So,
Eat this.
So, anybody can do this stuff. But I like the I like the way it turned out. But 8 seconds, I had 2 versions. The first one I worked on for about 2 hours, and the more I listened to it, the more I didn't like it, and so I just scrapped it. I still have it in the master file, but I just moved on. I started another start point and said, okay, we'll work on this and forget about that. Because I might have a use for it later on in something else in the future. So I don't throw anything away. But yeah, I think there's so much going on that piece of music that you don't hear. But if you didn't have all those pieces in there, you'd know that something was missing.
Oh my goodness. So Michelle is absolutely going to fire both of us if you do not play Micro Penis for her.
Oh, no problem. Micro Penis Man, I've already got it queued up. Okay, let's see if my if this thing is really going to play like I want it to, because you never know. Let's find out. Here we go. In this world when there is danger streaming, when up comes a stranger trying to disrupt your life in any way he can. He cannot dance and he can't sing and asshole can't do anything, but he's a superhero. He is Micro Penis Man. He's like broke no money on him, rubber glove gives him part condoms. That someone's too big. Nothing there, nothing to prove, can't find his dick under his tube. Slides him in because he is like a dog chasing a bone. He leaps out from his trailer home and races off across the desert sand. Snorting glue will make him loopy. He's become a one-man group because his only fan is his hand. He is Micro. I could explain his meanness. Nothing to come between us.
Cha cha cha. And look at Pete's comment on the screen.
Oh, come on, Pete. Can't be that
That's
bad.
hilarious, Pete. Well, I think we're going to have to hang it up for this evening. We've been on for an hour and 32 minutes, and I've got some puppers that need to go out and go piddle.
There you go, piddling puppers.
Piddling pupper. I want to thank everyone for coming in this into the impromptu live that Roland and I decided to do. Tea with Roland and Virgo we'll be doing now every other Friday for, what do you say, an hour and a half?
Sure.
Yeah, that sounds like it's perfect timing. An hour and a half each every other Friday. We'll be able to actually schedule it and announce the time from this point forward. But I want to thank all of you very much for helping me out with that little question that I had and laughing with us. Roland, thank you so much for taking the time to do this with me. I really appreciate it.
Oh, it's been fun. And I want to tell everybody, be sure when this broadcast is over to stand by after commercial interruption for Space Idiots.
Space Idiots?
There's a story I'll tell you about when we're off.
Okay. All right, everyone. Have a wonderful evening and weekend. And I don't know, I may be back with Chuck at some point this weekend, but if not, love to all of you. Talk to you later. Bye.
Bye, all.